with another tutorial for Tyranids. So in this one we look at Hive Fleet Kraken, or Kraken, whatever. Kraken. Okay, so I'm going to show this at 4 times speed, and here we go, starting off with a white base coat, Ceramite White, and then doing a Seraphim Sepia wash over everything. So nice heavy wash on all the fleshy bits on this guy. And much like the other ones, I'm going to be showing you other ones being the other Tyranid tutorials I'm doing. I'm going to show you how to do this pretty quickly, so that way you can get your horde of Gaunts and Tyranid warriors and whatever else there's in there on the tabletop painted up to a decent level quite fast. Dry brushing now with Tyrant Skull. You can go into I'm going to show you a white dry brush after this as well. The idea is just trying to bring the colors up a bit and blend in the Seraphim Sepia wash. Now, if you did a thin down wash, you might not need to do some of this dry brushing. You might be able to skip these steps. So it's something to keep in mind when you're doing tons and tons of these guys. So as you can see, I'm trying to get the nice even white on everything. Going with Mephiston Red on all the carapace. And this is going to be one of the longer steps here, just trying to get this on. One of the key things to note when you're doing models with white and then doing a wash over it is if you get the other paints on it, it's very difficult to kind of hide all that. So you want to keep within the lines when you're doing these next colors here. And I actually got a bit of smudge on the tail. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the video here, but it took me a little bit to try to touch that up with some other colors. It's hard to color match the different colors. Yeah, there it is on the tail. I just had some on my finger. So just something to keep in mind if you're doing washes for colors. But if you're doing things in your typical layering thing, then you can always go back and touch up with a previous layer and not have to worry too much about matching that. So I'm doing all the claws. The back carapace, I miss a little bit of it there on the back half of the one side. On the legs and those little, whatever they are, fleshy bits on the arms and legs. And yeah, so that's it for the red. Now I'm going to use Khorne Red on the blaster there, whatever the Gaunts carry. I'm not a Tyranid player, so I apologize for that. Painting that up and leaving some of the middle bits open as well, with the Mephiston Red. So kind of a two-tone red on that, whatever it is. Okay, now all the reds are going to get a Carroburg Crimson wash. And, well, by all the reds I mean just the underside of the carapace there, and then the gun as well. So the reason I'm only doing the lines and the carapace is just so that I don't have to redo the base coat Mephiston on all that. So I'm going to get a nice bright red with that. Okay, so I've touched up that last carapace piece there. Doing a little bit of Agrax Earthshade into the teeth just to make sure that they stand out very nicely. So just, and then in the eyeballs as well. Highlighting up Evil Sunz Red on the carapace. So just using the brush to sort of feather it back on the second half of the carapace. As you can see there, that's how I'm doing all of those pieces on the back. So it gives you kind of a tonal variation there to kind of make it look like those things are growing out. And as they get older, they, I don't know, brighten up a bit, age in the sun, something along those lines, fading. And then I'll do the next highlight just along the final edge of it, which will be coming up shortly. So just trying to keep that edge jagged, so that and not too faded, so that it looks like it's kind of a natural fading look on the carapace. And then the Wild Rider Red highlight coming up now. Just trying to do that along the back edge, just to really draw out that highlight, and it's almost a single jagged line along there. And really, with these types of models, that's one of the focal points that you notice from a distance, the carapace edges there, and so it's really important that that looks kind of neat. And using these layer paints really helps with that. Okay, now I'm going to just finish up that on the head and move over to the Wazdakka Red for the the gun there. So that's been shaded with a Carroburg Crimson, and I didn't bother going back with Khorne Red to bring up the base, so I'm just doing a quick highlight on there. Not too worried about getting too much highlight going on there. Squig Orange, just doing a couple little edges here and there just to help bring it out a little bit, nice and fast. Using Ushabti Bone to highlight up the teeth. Just trying to pick those out as neatly as possible. And Averland Sunset, just pick out some of the eyes as well. Okay, next I'm moving on to the base. So I'm using some of the texture paint. So this is Astrogranite, globbing that on. Sorry, it's a bit off camera. Hopefully I move this guy. The reason I picked that one is to give it a bit more, there you go, you can see it, a bit more contrast on the model. So I try to pick a theme that makes sense for the base, as well as contrasting some of the main colors so that they look nice. And then I'm dry brushing that with Longbeard Grey. And I think the texture paints are quite nice in that you're going to get the same sort of a look with all our guys, and they dry brush nicely. You can add a little bit of static grass, and then you're done. And you can do the same sort of thing with sand. It's going to be cheaper, obviously, than buying some paint, but it's a much faster process. And so if you have a ton of these guys, it's key to think about that. So just showing you some of the different paints and the areas, how I painted this up. And I think a couple of them are wrong, like Xandri Dust, I actually use Ushabti, and I think I show White Scar where I use Ceramite, but either would work. And all these images are going to be on my blog. You can go check that out. The link will be in the description below as well. There's going to be a Leviathan tutorial coming up shortly, if it's not already up when you're watching this. And there's already a Hive Fleet Behemoth one. Hope you enjoyed these tutorials for Tyranid Warriors, and you can get your stuff on the tabletop painted up real fast. And if you have any questions or suggestions for future tutorials, just leave me a comment here or over my blog. See you next time.